Hello. Hello, keep it simple. Good evening to you, Alicia and Mother Earth Club. Welcome. Good evening. Michelle, hi. Getting the gang all here. Matt and Sarah, hello. Is it both of you or just one tonight? So, good evening. So, we had an absolutely gorgeous day here today. It was above freezing. I think we hit 37. I don't know what Matt and Sarah hit, but sunny. Things are melting like crazy, but um, hey, Julie, hello. We've got up starting tomorrow through Monday, so that will be like 7 straight days of snow. It's not like all one big storm, but it's just like wave after wave after wave, that type of thing. So, oh, um, 45 here. Oh, wow. You guys really were melting then. Oh my goodness. Oh my, wow. Michelle, hi again. Um, yeah, so I mean, we're going to get back down into the single digits and things a little bit, but you can tell it's taking a corner, it's taking a turn towards spring. So it's kind of in that, we have a saying here, it probably is around the country. I don't know, but that March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. This year, certainly coming in like a lion. So I've had to reschedule a number of things because of the weather coming up. So uh, you done with the snow? Oh, minus 15 wind chills. Yeah. Well, hello, Caitlin, to you too. Um, yeah, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. That's for sure. So oh, Patty, hello. How has everybody's week been? Trying to think what was going on this last week. We just had a number of just things working, and I had meetings and different things like that. So obviously we still have plenty of snow out there. And even with all the melting, I think I still have almost 2 feet of snow yet, like in the backyard in my garden. So yes, thank you, Alicia. Yes. 53 degrees and sunny. Well, 45 in southern Minnesota. Well, not even quite southern Minnesota, but central Minnesota, and then 53 in Mississippi. But look at 6 o'clock in the evening, and we're still kind of light. Yay! But you can see the snow out there. Yep, all the snow. Christy Betts, hello. Welcome to you. Tony, hello from Southern Illinois. Do you still have snow there too? That's Southern Illinois, so probably not, right? What if it's a lion your way and a lamb here? That could be, Michelle. That could be. It might be just a Minnesota statement. I don't know. Matt and Sarah, have you heard that before? Be kind of interesting to know. I mean, I heard that all the time growing up, and goes in like a lion, out like a lamb. So it's all melted. Oh, yeah, you always say that too. Okay. So I don't know if it's a Minnesota saying or what, but well, Christy, you can yell at them all you want because we can't hear you. It's kind of one of the beauties of this, I guess. Oh, you know, yeah, there's some years it doesn't happen like that, but I would say more often than not, probably I don't know, 8 out of 10 winters maybe end up like that, but yeah, good maple syrup weather. Ooh, yes. We have a couple weeks yet before we really hit that, I think. At least up here. Now, Matt and Sarah, I bet your trees are gonna start flowing if you're at 45 degrees. Hmm. The cat started it. Oh, yes, 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 yes. All right. Um, have any of you seen my 2 fermenting videos that went up last week? Um, one was a week ago Saturday, and then the other one was last Thursday. Um, I know a lot of you have, and have gotten a lot of great comments on them, and I really appreciate it so much. But if you haven't and you want to, because there's a drawing in an hour, and if you haven't, well, actually, I don't know at what point in her hour she's gonna do the drawing, but Anna's gonna go live next hour and, do the drawing for 2 fermenting kits, a regular mouth kit and a wide mouth kit. So, thank you, Julie. Thanks. And, people have really enjoyed it. They're like, "Oh, cranberry and apple. Oh my goodness, it's like my 2 favorite flavors together." And then, it just kinda really blew people's minds that you could do fermented foods out of freeze-dried foods, and it's like, "Yeah." And you know what? There was somebody that had a question in the comments on that video that they were wondering if you could take fermented foods and freeze-dry them, and then when you rehydrate them, will they still have the fermented properties to them? I did some research, and amazingly, yes. Even though fermenting is a live culture, a live bacteria, you can even freeze dry, a SCOBY for, like, kombucha and everything, and, it just takes a little while for it to get back up to its activating type of thing, but it was like at least this one site I found. It so I was, like, kind of amazed. It's like, "Wow." So, I have never tried that because I don't have a freeze dryer, so I can't take fermented foods and freeze dry them and stuff like that, so I'm not sure, but, anyway, yeah, Patty, I totally hear you, not being able to watch them all, I watched a few. I mean, I don't need a fermenting kit, so I don't wanna be part of the drawing and everything, but there were a couple, um, of the channels the videos that I did comment on just because they were so amazing. It was a really, really good collaboration, and I was so happy to be part of that. It was really neat. So down below in the show notes, I actually put, the, playlist down there if you have not commented on any of those videos and subscribed to any of them, that you can still go down there and do that. There's still time. Try to wait till after my live though, unless you can open another window, yeah, another tab, and if you're on your laptop or something, you can open that up and, um, and then you can have it playing but mute it and stuff like that, and then you can go back and just comment on it. So, um, Mother Earth Garden Club's in Minnesota too. Another Minnesotan. So, where in Minnesota are you? I think you mentioned it one time, but I can't remember everybody. So, but yes, you're right. It was a cold winter here. Um, you lost your water kefir last year during the February freeze. Hmm. Really having issues with no cool place. A cool place to store your jars and things? Is that what you're talking about, Michelle? I might be getting in on the end of a conversation here too. Oh, sorry. Um, but anyway, yeah, if you wanted to enter, and then watch the watch Anna's live next hour, and you can find out because she's going to have a drawing from among all the channels and all the comments and everything. And they're going to be a lot because I've had, between my two videos, I would say somewhere in the area of 400 comments, 350 to 400 comments at least. And so it's been a lot to take care of and navigate from. So there are a lot of people out there. Hey, Teresa. Hello. Shady Hill. Welcome. Southern Indiana. Very nice. Well, last week we'd gotten started on some Q&A for the gardening and everything. We didn't get real far, but because I did interject it with some stories, some Sven and Oli stories, and I will do that again tonight if you want to, just to keep it kind of light and happy and fun. But first of all, I would like to know what questions anybody would have on gardening that we haven't covered. We talked a lot last week about testing, about soil testing, about different compost, different things like that. We could talk about your supplies, when to start the garden. But maybe I'll just pick one. So what are the easiest vegetables to grow? And these are questions that have been really common gardening questions for first-time gardeners. And so it's kind of what I'm gearing towards for anybody who hasn't really gotten out there yet. And I'd like to hear from a lot of you from Mother Earth. I actually have a comfrey plant here that I owe a few people. You guys, okay, Julie, can you get that one? Are you the only mod here tonight? Oh, Alicia is too. And Matt. So, okay. There's, yeah, I have a comfrey plant that I owe Built on the Rock Homestead one and Oak Knob Farm. And so there are a couple people I owe a plant to. But if you're interested, thank you, Alicia. If you want, I can get you a piece of the plant this spring. So just let me know. I know, Kiri, I still have your email too. So, but yes, beans, you're right, Christy and Mother Earth. Beans, I think, are the easiest vegetables to grow. You just stick them in the ground, an inch deep or so, and they pop up and they grow and they give you lots of beans. So they can withstand a lot of weather, storms, different things, but they're not really a finicky plant. So, oh, Tony, yeah, that would be hard. That would take probably a couple of years for it to get going from seed. So the best way is to just get a chunk of root from somebody and stick it in the ground. So, you have horehound growing wild. Ooh, that's interesting. Hey, Connie, hugs to you too. So beans, I would like to know if in I know some of the other climates around the country and the continent really, and in every place that it is, there are other plants and vegetables that grow very easily where I could not grow them here, or they can't grow my easy vegetables here, that type of thing. So Heaven's Essentials, I know you're in California. So what is the easiest plant that you've been able to grow? Because you're in a more arid climate. And then Patty in Southern Bless Homestead, what is, way down the deep south where it's really, you're saturated with water and heat and everything. what has been the easiest plant for you to grow there? Because I know that it changes for where you are. So I won't be able to have any left. Um, it doesn't take much, and I will have to split mine some more. Tony, if you want to email me. So, hey, Farmer Nadell, how are you? Matt and Sarah, herbs tend to be pretty easy. You're right, especially like mint and parsley and basil, those kind of things. They grow pretty well. Okra and green beans in the south. Good to know. Okay. Um, Same for you, Teresa. Okay. Stringfield Ridge, okra and green beans. Can microgreens be grown inside at any time of the year? Oh yeah, because microgreens you want to grow in a container, typically a jar with a like a vented cap on it or something. But yes, those are meant to be grown inside. Put them on your windowsill or something like that. Definitely. Horehound is in the mint family. I did not know that. Oh, that is great. Green beans are the hard ones. So the green beans here, Michelle, but I don't know. Patty, is it dried beans or green beans for you? That would be neat, Matt. Yes. Not all green beans grow well here, but the rattlesnake pole beans do for you. Okay. And I think, Julie, you said what beans was it that grew well for you? There was only one kind of green bean or bush bean, bush bean or pole bean that grew for you. You had a hard time growing beans. So, but tomatoes is super easy. Yes. Tomatoes, dragon tongue. There you go. Dragon tongue beans. Um, so anyway, that's good to know. At the different areas of the country, it's like, because I can say, well, green beans are the easiest to grow, but somebody in Arizona might be like, we can't even grow them. It's too hot and dry here for them or something. So there might be something else that grows better there. So that's really neat. You love green beans, you could live off of them. Oh, good for you, Alicia. Awesome. All right. So I don't have this in the notes, but for when to plant or to transplant your starts or to start your starts, um, there's a planner. It's called Clyde's planner, and it's let me see if I have that here. Homestead. I know I have it under in my gardener's thing. Hold on just a second. Here we go. Clyde's Garden Planner. And what that does, it helps you to know when to plant each seed or plant in your zone. So again, you can look up your plant hardiness zone, which is right here. You can look up by zip code or just kind of look on the map for your state, kind of where you are, and it'll tell you what zone you're in. And so that helps you to know what fruits and vegetables grow well in your area, what trees you can plant, what shrubs work well for you. And if there's something that, for me, I'm in zone, you know, 4B to 3A. I'm kind of just like right in between there. And so depends on what part of my yard, actually. And so I need to, I can't plant something that's meant for zone 7 or 8, and because it will not grow well, or it'll die off if I'm meant to have it for the winter or something. So, Connie, you've been getting seeds started in your dining area. Your friend walked in and goes, it's like, who are you having over for dinner with all your seeds there, right? You're in Northwest Mississippi. Oh, yeah. Okay. Awesome. So the Clyde's Garden Planner shows you, like, for your zone, what your last frost date should be, when you should be putting things in the ground, when you can harvest, all that kind of thing. And so it's a great little planner. Really, really is well. Oh, Christy. Oh, no. They're getting hungry too, aren't they? It's a long winter. Heaven's Gate Cherry Farm, hello. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Again, for anybody just coming in, there is, I was part of a fermented February collaboration, and I did a couple videos, but there's a drawing in the next hour at Fermented Homestead, that channel, and I have all the information in the show notes below. Um, so if you have not seen any of those videos and you want to enter the drawing for a fermentation kit, you need to go make sure you subscribe to the channel. Um, Find a video, comment on it. If it's one of my videos, that'd be great. But comment on it, and make sure that you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And then she will have a drawing from one of the channels, from one of the comments. So it'd be kind of cool. It's called Folding Table and Chairs in the Kitchen. Yep. Oh, okay. That's good to know, Patty. Southern Blessed Homestead said that she's trying to use the Clyde's planter more this year, but it is later than she is used to planting. So that, again, you really have to kind of know your climate, your area, your soil, your weather, and everything else. So the planner is the guide, so it's not, set in stone or anything. So a lot of times, they'll say, well, my last frost date would be like May 20th or something, or even May 15th. But if I go out and do that, a lot of times we end up with either a late frost, or the weather's so cool and wet, nothing will germinate. And so I have to replant everything a couple of weeks later. So, just kind of use it as a guide on that, but it helps. It's really wet this year there. Oh, yeah. You guys have really had the rain. Oh my goodness. And all this stuff we're going to be getting over the next week, I don't know where that's going, but if you look out, like, over Washington, Oregon right now, and I think some of you who are living out there can probably say, yeah, the weather's really, really wet right now, but that's what's going to be coming this way. So, like I said, I don't know what direction it's going after that, but I hope you guys don't get any more for a little while. Got over 6 inches this week. Oh, yeah. Very true, Matt. Absolutely. Climbed. Oh, yeah. That's when it's cute. But if you have animals and gardens that they're getting into, it's not quite so cute. But Matt and Sarah had one trying to get into their chicken coop last week or something. So you caught that on video. I think that was really cool that you were able to catch that on video. And so that's kind of neat. Went right back to cold. Oh, yep. Better than snow. Okay. Little intermission here. Sven and Oli go fishing. It's such a great day. They rent a boat so they can fish from the middle of the lake. They row out, drop their lines, and before you know it, they're catching fish, one after another after another. Hey, Glenn, how are you? They can't believe what a great fishing spot they found. Sven says, "This is the best fishing spot in the county. It's just too bad we did not bring some paint." Oli asks, "Paint? Why would you want paint to go fishing?" Well, Oli, story time. Well, Oli, don't you see? So we can paint the X in the bottom of the boat so we can find this spot next time. Remember I said the elevator doesn't go to the basement? Oli laughs at him. Sven, don't be such a dummy. Next time, what if they give us a different boat? Oh, they both are missing it, right? Oh, yes. You're both missing it. Okay, let me see. Oli says, "Did you hear about the tragedy at the main library in Helsinki, Finland?" Sven says, "No. What happened, Oli?" Oli said, "All the books were lost in a terrible fire. Both of them just blazed out of control. Worst part is, one of them hadn't even been colored in yet." Oh. Okay. Oli and Lena, getting up in years, are in the living room watching TV. Oli says, "I think I'll go get a little ice cream. Would you like one?" Lena said, "Yes. Could you get me a scoop of vanilla?" "I can do that." And Oli heads for the kitchen. Lena says, "Don't you think you'd better write that down?" Oli says, "No, I can remember that. A scoop of vanilla." Heads for the kitchen again. Lena says, "Oli, while you're at it, how about putting a little chocolate syrup on mine?" "I can do that." "Don't you think you better write that down?" "No, I can remember. Vanilla ice cream with a little chocolate syrup." He gets closer to the kitchen. Lena's yelling, "You know, Oli, some crushed peanuts would also be nice." "I can do that." "Don't you think you better write that down?" "No, I can remember a scoop of vanilla, chocolate syrup, and crushed peanuts." And Oli goes into the kitchen. Half an hour later, Lena's getting worried and is about to go looking for him when Oli comes out of the kitchen carrying 2 plates of fried eggs and bacon. Lena's like, "Oli, I knew you should have written it down. I wanted my eggs scrambled." But their minds are a little scrambled, I think. Okay. Back to gardening. So, I love it when I see all the faces laughing. Um, your town school library is dangerous. Librarian might get you to foster puppies. Your pastor's wife brought home a litter. Oh, that could be risky, right? Patty, you resemble that story, huh? You resemble that remark. Oh, Tony, thank you so much. Yes, they are well suited for each other. But, you know, it's like it's funny, old age has to be a blast when it gets to that point. It's like, "Huh? I told you this. No, you told me that." Oh, so anyway. How do I know when a plant is established? Okay, that all of a sudden, of course, depends on the plant. So let's just talk tomatoes. Um, Tomatoes, you want to start inside, usually anywhere from, oh, like 8 to 10 weeks before you're planting them outside. Um, some varieties you could even go as little as 6 weeks, but that's kind of a little small. 8 to 10 weeks. So you started in your seed starting trays. Um, you could also do it like in a little bit bigger pot or like the plastic cups. What do you call them? The solo cups, that type of thing. Because those are a little bit bigger and they're deeper, so the roots can go a little bit deeper. So a tomato plant, when it starts popping up, you just make sure you keep the soil moist enough and that it drains well too. And so every plant that you start from seed has its first leaves and then its true leaves. So there's two different excuse me, um, two different sets of leaves that come up. And the very first set you see is as it's coming up and kind of trying to burst out of its seed and everything and coming up, then it has a little set of leaves. And then, and those look very much the same throughout a lot of plants. And then the stem grows up and you have another set of leaves that look very different typically than that first set. And the second set are what we call the true leaves. And those will start to show the difference between the plants. Like a marigold would look very different than a tomato plant, than a bean plant, than um, a pepper plant. They all start looking very different with their true leaves as they come up. So once the true leaves come up, then it's starting to establish and everything in your starting pot pretty well. Now, depending on how big your pot is, if you have just a little like 1-inch cell or a 2-inch cell or something like that that you've done and it needs to be potted up, um, you don't want it to get too big, maybe 3 inches tall or something, 3, 4 inches tall, and then transplant it to a bigger one. Um, you put yours outside once it flowered and it died, and a summer bugs got it. It was your first try. Um, yes, and that's another part of, how to get them outside and everything. But your leaves, so as the plant is growing up and you're getting your true leaves, you know that the roots are going down and starting to establish. Um, the stem and leaves will slow down a little bit at one point, and that what it's doing at that point is that the roots are really starting to fill out underneath and starting to establish more. So don't get too worried about that. Um, just to make sure that you keep them watered properly and enough light and different things like that. You wanna make sure you have some kind of grow light or something like that under there. I just use regular shop lights. Um, Hopefully, at some point, I will be able to transition over to grow lights, but they are expensive. So, I just have some, like, $12 shop lights that go in there, and they've worked just fine. Um, so anyway, that's from starting it from seed inside, and then once it is big enough, like tomato plants, you want them to be probably at least a foot high before you transplant them, and that's above the soil. You want to make sure that the stem is starting to really get sturdy and everything else like that, so that when you finally do transplant them, you can put them in deep. So anyway, that is kind of letting you know how things can get established in that way. Um, Bushes, trees, they take a whole different length of time, all that kind of stuff. So kind of use shop lights too. Yep. The one thing you want to be careful of is not to just stick your pots with your little seedlings and everything in a window or something, because they will stretch to get that sunlight, and then they get what we call really leggy, and so you've got this long, spindly, weak stem with the little leaves, like 6 inches later or something, and that that does not allow your plant to grow well, and it just won't survive very well with that. So that's why grow lights are really helpful, and you want to have them like a couple inches above where the plants are, so that the plants are kind of limited. If you have them up here, the plants will grow up to the light. But if you have the light lower over your plants, the plants will only grow that far, and they will. But what they're doing is they're getting more established. They're getting a stronger root system and different things like that. Donna, hello. Hello, hello. Um, Tony, you plant your tomatoes on their side with Epsom salts added. On their side, okay. Once you transplant them, you're talking about in the garden. So I've done that before when they've been really. One year I started them really early, and I had like 3-foot plants, tomato plants, and it was like, I need to get these in the ground. And my beds, I only had like 12 inches to be able to go down for the soil depth, and so I didn't want 2 feet up. So 2 feet up. So what I did was I kind of dug a trench, and I laid down part of the plant and the root, and then brought the rest up. So there was like 2 feet of root underneath the soil. It was crazy. It was crazy. Um, the wind tore your greenhouse apart. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. So, all right. You ready for more Sven and Oli? Sven and Oli were walking through a field and saw a big hole. They wondered how deep it was. So they threw a rock in, but didn't hear it hit the ground. So they looked around and found a big plank, which they dragged over and threw in the hole. Again, they didn't hear a thing, but all of a sudden, a goat came running by at incredible speed and plunged down the hole. Still, they didn't hear a sound. A bit later, a farmer came by looking for his goat. Sven said, "It might be the goat who just ran past and jumped in the hole." "Oh no," said the farmer, "that can't be. My goat is tied to a big heavy plank." Oh. Does the sideways planting, hi Karen's garden, does sideways planting work for both determinate and indeterminate tomatoes? Um, it does. I would say the determinate, it won't grow as tall as it probably would have, and that's where you just don't want your plants to get way too tall before you transplant them. um, so But Patty said you think so. It would work, yes. I just don't think it would be as tall of a plant. Now, for those of you for tomatoes, determinate and indeterminate, you'll hear those different things. There's a lot of seed packets that don't tell you what they are, so you have to kind of do a little research on them once you get them. But determinate means that the plant is already determined to grow to a certain height. It might stop at 5 feet tall or something. I was saying tomatoes. Indeterminate means that it's going to get to 5 feet and go to 6 feet, 8 feet. It'll keep growing until you actually clip off the top to make sure that it stops growing, and then it'll keep pushing out the side. But it's just meant to continue to keep growing and growing and growing. Um, it depends on what you want. If you want tomatoes to keep coming and keep getting new ones, if you have a longer season, especially that you're able to get a lot of tomatoes out of it. The plant itself is designed to continue to be able to produce, and determinants will also put out just so many tomatoes, and that will be it. Indeterminates will keep on branching, keep on sprouting new branches and putting out new fruit and flowers and everything. But the determinate is just like, it kind of caps off at a certain amount. So if you have a really short growing season, sometimes determinate might be better because it's going to put out and set, and then you can harvest it all and be done with it. You don't have to worry about tomatoes keep coming. You only plant indeterminate? Okay. Yep. Yeah, and Alicia, I think we talked last week too about you doing some container planting and putting some cherry tomatoes in there. I think that's going to be a great thing for you. Okay. Yep. All right, Patty, take care of those chickens. You had some that froze and were stringy. That you froze to maybe pick them sooner. Okay. I always make sure that I get beans that are stringless because I don't like messing with the strings. The 42 day tomato? Wow. That is fast. I had no idea he had that. Exactly, Christy. The determinant for canning, so that your canning is all done all at one time, and they're not continuing to come more and more. And towards the end of the season, you end up getting stragglers coming in. But if you want that, when you have green tomatoes and you want to make pickled green tomatoes or green tomato relish or different things, something like that. So it depends on your climate, your lifestyle, and what you can do, what you can't do. So you didn't like the 42 day as a pick and eat, but great for cooking. Ah, okay. See, I just cannot eat fresh tomatoes. I will eat them, cooked, stewed, canned, ketchup, juice, soup, all that kind of stuff, but I just can't eat them fresh. So for me to to worry about, what's a good slicer out there, for eating fresh, that doesn't matter to me. So I'm looking for good canning tomatoes, and I tend to go for like the beefsteak tomatoes, just because they're they're large. I don't have to process as many. I know that the Romas, and I've done Romas before in the past too, and they're obviously nice and thick and make great for sauce, but you're processing so many of them. It's like, just give me 20 big beef steaks and I'll put up 20 quarts of tomatoes or tomato sauce or something. So yeah. Oh, Julie, that's true. Oh, that is true, Alicia. A beefsteak, so you've got like one slice and it covers the whole sandwich, right? You can green tomato pickles and freeze fried. green tomatoes. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Awesome. All right. One day, three men went out hunting. There was a hunter, an Indian, Native American, and Ole. So the Indian goes out hunting and comes back with a deer. The hunter asked him how he caught this great deer, and the Indian replies, I saw the tracks, I followed the tracks, and I shot the deer. The next day, the hunter went out hunting and came back with an even bigger deer. Ole asked him how he caught such a great deer, and the hunter replied, I saw the tracks, I followed the tracks, I shot the deer. The next day, Ole went out hunting and came back all bloody with broken bones. It's like, what did he get tangled up in? The hunter and the Indian asked him what happened. Ole replied, I saw the tracks. Sorry, I got to get into character. I saw the tracks. I followed the tracks. I got hit by a train. Guess you have to define what tracks, right? Oh. Hey, Tim. Hello. Dave, there you are. You were tied up. Can't beat beefsteaks. Your neighbor couldn't handle the acid of red tomatoes. You gave me yellow and orange. Well, that's cool. I know I've got other colored tomatoes this year. That'd be so fun. Mrs. Sam, hello. Thank you for coming. Oh, so one day, oh, thanks, Doug. I don't even have any Norsk in my family either. It's just I've heard a number of people though. So one day, Ole and Lena were outside, and it started to rain. They thought nothing of it. Well, the rains kept coming until the main floor of their house became filled with water. Lena said, Ole, what are we going to do? The water is coming in. Let's go upstairs. The rain won't last that long, and it won't get up there, was Ole's reply. So Ole and Lena went upstairs to wait for the rain to stop. After a short time, Lena looked at her feet and saw that they were immersed in water. Ole, Ole, the rain has reached us up here. What are we going to do? Lena, calm down. We'll just go up on the roof. The water will never reach us up there. It's too high. After sitting on the roof for a period of time, Lena noticed a hat floating downstream. She, of course, thought that someone had just lost his hat, and the current was taking the hat with it. However, when she looked at the water rising again, she noticed that the hat was coming back upstream. That hat kept going downstream and then back upstream, downstream, and back upstream. Ole, look at that hat, she said. Excuse me. Ole was as puzzled as she was. Then it suddenly hit him. He remembered what Sven had told him. Lena, I know why that hat is going back and forth upstream. When I talked to Sven yesterday, he said that come hell or high water, he was going to mow his lawn today. Oh, Chrissy, I bet. I bet. That was and that's kind of what I wanna do too. I've only done just, like, a single kind of tomato in the past and everything. I wanna start to combine different flavors. I think that's gonna be really, really good. So, no worries, Katie. come hell or high water, he's going to mow his lawn. Oh, there's a song here. I have to wait for another time to do that. It's really a pretty cute song. Uh, so let me. Okay. Did you hear about the Finn who was so dumb that he thought that manual labor was the president of Mexico? Alrighty. Okay. Back to gardening. Oh, before we get too far along, first of all, I want to thank all my mods for you guys being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me back, for welcoming everybody, for all of your work. I appreciate it so much. Am I a horse show fan? Eli, hello. Holy cow, it's been forever. Hello to you. I've been to maybe a couple horse shows, but that's not really kind of the things that I've done in that way. I'm more just into just having a horse and riding and stuff like that, not really going to the shows. Um, so, okay, my prep tip is to plan on learning a new preserving or gardening skill in the next month or so. Those of us in the north, probably more preserving. Gardening isn't quite going on at this point. I've still got 2 feet of snow out there. But learn something, and I know everybody's been growing in their skills and their knowledge all year, but find something else that you need to learn, and it might just be like um, how to add amendments to your soil, like what kind of things, and maybe just pick one, like you want to add vermiculite or something. It's like, okay, then study what vermiculite is, find out what benefits it gives to your soil, find out what plants benefits the most from that, different things like that. So, just so that you can get a little bit better skills so that you are better able to feed yourself and your family and to take care of that. So, um, let me see. Again, make sure that if you haven't checked out the fermenting videos, and if you want to enter the drawing, to go and check those out. You're studying for your grape pruning this month. Ah, nice. Very good. See, David's right on top of it there. Blessed evening to you too, Eli. You've been on my mind lately. I just haven't seen you on here for a long time and wondering if you were still vertical. You feel like you have to relearn some every year. Your middle name might need to be Leah. I hear you. Oh, Patty, it's like no matter how many years I've been gardening, it's like there's still so much to learn, so much to know. And, so anyway, you guys, yeah, just work at that. So, okay, one last little gardening thing. When is it time to harvest? Okay, and that again depends on the plant, on the fruit or vegetable. Uh, beans, you want to make sure that they are about a little bit more than pencil a thickness. Yep, something like a pen or pencil. Um, you get smaller than that, and um, it takes a lot of beans to fill your jars. You get bigger than that, they start getting really tough, and the seeds inside start growing bigger, and so they're getting, like, really knobby and everything. So you wanna get the beans before the knobs get on there, and just pick them. And if you can't process them that same day, you can still pick them, put them in a container or a baggie or something in the refrigerator for a couple days before you can get to them. They will be okay. I've done that before. So, they, just wanna make sure I'm not missing anything, so oh, I like that, Christy. "Although I am an old man, I am yet a young gardener." That's very good. Donna, yes, and grow stringless beans. Um, so that's kind of on the green beans. Tomatoes, you wanna make sure that they are, they're good and red. You don't wanna let them get overripe into, like, a squishy type of thing, but you don't wanna pick them when they're, still just barely getting a blush on them or something like that. You wanna make sure that they're good and red, because then the flavor comes out the best in them, and if you're picking them too early, they're gonna be a little more bitter and stuff like that. So you wanna make sure that you get the best flavor of your things. Um, Winter squash, you wanna leave on the vine to allow the, um the rind to get nice and hard, and there are certain things to tell with that, like where it hits the vine. Same with watermelon. Well, you don't wanna leave watermelon to get hard, but the, um, way to be able to tell that they're ready is that there's a little, curly curly thing right next to where the squash or even watermelon or something or cantaloupe meets the vine, and so when that dries up, your fruit is ready to pick. Um, what other things? Herbs, you can harvest all through the summer. Basil isn't just one harvest. When I first grew basil, I thought it was just a one harvest type of thing, but no, you can harvest it and then, cut it down to 6 or 8 inches, and then it will start growing again, and you harvest again. It'll keep on going. You just want to make sure that it doesn't go to bolt or that it starts flowering up, because then um, that kind of is a signal to the plant that we're done growing the good stuff and we're going to seed. Um, so anyway, hey Patty, hello, Tinker's wife. Oh, no worries, no worries. Exactly, Dave. Herbs are cut and come again. Exactly. Sean in Alaska. Hey, how are you? Oh, I hear that. We're supposed to have 7 days coming up of snow. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of getting my exercise in, that's for sure. Um, if you cut and split and make two shoots, yes, absolutely. Um, all right. One more story, and then we're going to um, go so that Anna at Fermented Homestead can do her live drawing and everything. So, an oil drilling company in Texas had a big well fire. Even Red Adair couldn't put it out. They offered an award of $50,000. A Finnish fire department from southern Texas offered to come up and put out the fire. As they came roaring up the highway, they turned off into the oil field, not only up to the oil fire, but right into it. The Finnish firemen jumped out of the fire truck and began to frantically thrash at the fire with their jackets. Miraculously, the fire was put out by these Finns. As the superintendent reacted with amazement, he led Ole, the fire chief, into his office where he made out the check for $50,000. I mean, seriously, after all the Ole stories, do you want him to be a fire chief? um, anyway, he said, "Congratulations, Ole. What do you intend to do with the money?" The superintendent asked. Ole replied, "Well, first of all, we will have to get the brakes fixed on our fire truck." So there you go. That's how they got in there so fast. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Um, oh, thanks, you guys. Uh, so I hope you learned a little something, and had some fun with Sven and Oli, and it's been good to see everybody here. I really appreciate it. Uh, yeah, they're they're just the light bulbs are out, so they've been out forever, so it's, like, kinda fun to do that, so, anyway, oh, you're welcome. Thanks, you guys. Take care, God bless, always have hope, and have a great week coming up. Think of me while I'm shoveling for the next 7 days. God bless.